Hi, it's Stephen Molnar and I'm joined by Cameron Fisher, who's the CEO and founder of Changing Places Real Estate. They're actually one of the expert panel that Investors Prime has. Now, Cameron, you're a 30-year property expert, veteran. I hate to say 30 years because you look much younger than that, but you know the market really well, and you've been an auctioneer as well. You've done over 5,000 successful auctions in some of the best places here in Melbourne. As a auctioneer, what are some of the organising principles, the guidelines, the tips, the tricks that you've learnt that could actually help investors, particularly as they start their journey?
Thank you, Stephen. Look, with auctioneering, you learn so much about the marketplace and about how people react. I suppose the number one thing would be that investors in particular just don't get caught up in the emotion. So as an investor, you need to go to the auction prepared. You need to work out what you're prepared to pay for the property, what comparable properties have sold for, so that you can gauge what is a fair and realistic price, and then go out there knowing that that's your limit and keeping that limit in place. As an auctioneer, I see many people go well and truly above what they were first prepared to pay.
Right.
Then they may have problems with valuations thereafter, but you know, they've left with a bad taste in their mouth because they've just got caught up in an auction. And you want to look for properties that ultimately will be sought by owner-occupiers as well, because that'll help you get a higher price when you go to resell.
And why is that? Just explain that to people. Why?
Because there's properties that suit investment only,
Yes.
and they might be properties like service apartments or student accommodation, etc., which I've never seen as a great investment anyway.
Right.
But they're never going to be occupied by owner-occupiers later on down the track.
So there's got to be an old motion for those
That's
to,
right.
to go higher.
And it's
and
a
higher.
motion that creates that
Yes.
extra 5 or 10% in price. So you want to be able to buy a property that can offer that emotion later on, but you don't want to be paying that emotion now when you're bidding for a property. So if you go to an auction and there's 4 or 5 owner-occupiers who that's going to be their home, they're going to be there every day, that's their life, and you're just the investor working purely on a return basis, you're going to find it hard to buy that property. And if you do get caught up in the emotion of that auction with those owner-occupiers, you'll end up paying way too much. There's no question about it. And I see it happen quite often.
So in an ideal world, you actually want to be the house next door to the one that is going to be bid by all these owner-occupiers at emotional levels.
Absolutely. You want to be able to buy it in perhaps an off-market transaction where you're not going through that competition. But there are times when it's great to buy at auction where the market's depleted, whereby the owner-occupiers aren't buying at that particular time, and you can buy under market value. There's no questions. I used to buy property that way. You go to an auction, and if there's 3 or 4 people there, you think you've got a really good chance. And if most of those are other investors or people that are just really testing the market, it's a great time to buy. So don't be afraid of auctions, just go there with a set price in mind and stick to that price, because again, if you go and pay too much for it, it's just going to reduce your return, but also make it harder to make a decent capital gain at the end.
Right, okay, that's great, wonderful. Thank you very much, Cameron.